Previously on Axiom Verge.
Elsinova never told you what happened to Sudra.
She told me enough! She told me you came through the breach and killed everyone!
No. I am you.
That's not true! That's impossible!
Search your axioms, you know it to be true.
No.
Triss, you can destroy the Usalti. They have foreseen this. It is your destiny. Join me, and together we can rule the world stream as pattern mind and duplicate. Come with me. It is the only way.
What do you do when you realize that you might have been the real bad guy all along? The answer is you just keep slogging forward and collecting stuff, which is what we will be doing today on Let's Play Axiom Verge. One thing I did off-screen is I went back and mapped that long vertical shaft on the left there, because it didn't actually map it with some of the screwing around with the drone I was doing in the previous episode, so that's done now, so I don't have to worry about it later. So, today, we are going to wander on over this way. This door leads down into Indy. We've already been in there, so there's not really any reason to go down there right now, so I'll go past it. Once you come over here, there's nothing more you can really do except a rather nice lake background here, and a couple more one-way passages that make absolutely sure you have the trench coat before you come through here. And then we go into another new area. And if you don't like this music, viewers, you have no soul. This is Edin. From what I understand from a bit of Googling, that probably is the Sumerian term for plane, likely related to the biblical term Eden. I don't know. In any case, from the background, it certainly looks like a plane with a bunch of ruins and stuff dotting it. Now, those up there are glowbats. We've seen them before. That particular group I'm just going to run underneath to avoid triggering them. And these things are blade vines. And they're pretty dangerous, as are the glowbats. When you hack the blade vines, they don't really change their behavior, but they do start trailing health instead of death. Now, the best way to deal with the glowbats is actually to use the Varange. It's good for groups of fairly low health enemies that are spread out. Just fire blindly for a while, you'll eventually get rid of all of them. Those particular ones don't matter too much, so I'm not going to pay too much attention to them. I'll just keep going this way. Now, with the blade vines, the tail is included in their hitbox, so you can kind of hit them from a distance by paying attention to that. Now, in Eden, you're going to see a lot of areas where you have to trench coat up like that, because you can't jump high enough otherwise. Now, do not jump up there blindly, because there are a bunch more glowbats up there. Even careful. I'm not doing a great job of avoiding them here. Clear out some of them on one side, I'll be more or less okay. I think that's mostly okay. More. Alright, that's all of them for now. And I hear death garble. Now, we don't have a way of dealing with this high-tier garble. We can't hack it yet. So ordinarily we'd have to move on and find some other items. However, here, if you use your invincibility frames right, you can actually trenchcoat through that garble and sequence break a little bit. So, because I can, I'm going to do that. That makes this area a little more efficient. So, this looks like a wall. It's not. It's a door. And we can get a note over here. It's a green Rusalki note. What's this one say? Unusually, it's written in the Sudran alphabet, which means we can actually decode it with our passcode immediately. That is unusual, because typically the green notes are written in the Rusalki language. So we can gather from that this is a letter written to someone who speaks Sudran, probably someone in the Sudran government, or Sudran hierarchy, whatever. And they are talking about Oracca. You will remember that Oracca is the big shell-face Rusalki that goes back and forth in Indy. So, from the text, I think we can gather that this was probably written by Veruska, petitioning the Sudrans to allow Oracca to be moved to a long chamber with room to stretch, like Indy. So that's how that happened. And from that we can probably also gather that the one about dreaming about killing was probably also written by Veruska to Oracca. Which is probably not a great way to pull someone out of their despondency, threatening to kill them. Veruska thinks that works for Rusalki. Maybe she's right, maybe she's not. Oracca still isn't talking to Trace at least, so we don't know. But that's save point over there. Always good to get the health refill from that. Because these blade vines are pretty hard to avoid sometimes. You can also kind of get them hung up on platforms like that in some situations. Now, you'll see a little tunnel up there, which you can kind of get to with the drone, but you can't jump high enough to do anything with that. Yet. You just have to keep going. Now, these will-o-wisps, we saw them previously in Ereboo. I neglected to point out that if they get too close to you, they will latch on and drain your health. And if they drain too much of your health, they will split up into more will-o-wisps, and the whole room will get filled with them eventually, and it's very scary. I think I already hacked one of those. I'll try for another one just in case. Here again, the drone can't jump high enough to get up there, and even if it could, it can't teleport through that wall over there. So, we can't get that yet either. That suggests the kind of traversal item we will be getting up here. So, this is a large open area. Try and hack one of these will-o-wisps, just in case. I believe when hacked, they just sit there and shoot at you pointlessly. Just not terribly threatening. Let's see, can I get that one over there? Barely. There we go. So, can't get up there. More glow bats over here. Let's try to varange them out of the way. Now, when you try to jump up those next platforms, there are more glow bats. So in this situation, it's probably a little better to kill them through the platforms, because the Varange won't really get them quick enough. Now, over here, is there anything? Well, there's a tunnel there that the drone can't do anything with. Again, the game's gonna give us a way for the drone to teleport pretty soon, or something like that. Ah, forgot about that one. Got it. And nothing else over here. Okay, we know what this means. Is it a real boss fight instead of a joke boss fight this time? We will find out right after we restore and save over here. And it's a huge wasp, lovely. And it doesn't even know how to speak. Saves me from having to do another dialogue thing. Now, this is Ukhu, not to be confused with Count Dooku, and probably this is a good use for the inertial pulse. What's going to happen here is he'll retreat from you, open his mouth, and you need to shoot him in his mouth, of course. You will hear from the amount of barrier sound effects you're hearing. There are a lot of things that block your shots when you try to shoot at him. So by using the inertial pulse, you can fire through that. The other thing he does is shoot those little wasps at you. Make sure while you're here you hack them, because if you don't do so now, you can never get that particular enemy fight. I already did so earlier in the fight, so I'm done with that. I'm just trying to get them out of the way. And Ukhu is actually a pretty challenging fight if you don't know to use the inertial pulse. Fortunately, when you do use it, it goes pretty quickly. Now, when you hack those little Ukhu Spawn wasps, they behave like the green gliders we saw earlier, meaning they go up and down, and we shoot them, the entire screen full of them explodes. And the speedrun way of dealing with Ukhu, let me map this real quick, is by timing it perfectly to get 3 of them to explode on his open mouth all at once. And that is enough damage to insta-kill him. You have to be really precise on the timing for that, though. I've never been able to get it to work. The challenge with Ukhu is when you do line yourself up with his mouth, he does that diving attack at you too. That's what triggers that, so you have to be really quick to evade it. And if you don't have the inertial pulse active, if you're trying to aim really precisely and get out of the way of doing that, it's really challenging to do it consistently enough to avoid just losing the health drain battle. But after killing Ukhu, we come down here. And what is this? This is the drone teleport, which does pretty much what you would think it does. You hit Y again while in the drone form, and Trace comes to wherever the drone is. And that is how we get through those types of terrain we've been seeing around here. Drone goes through here, then Trace teleports there, Trace teleports through. And so on. And that is pretty much the next main traversal mechanic we use to get through the rest of the game. And I need the Varange again now. That is the only time I will be using the inertial pulse. Now I'm gonna map the rest of this room while I'm over here. I need to map the right side of it there. And let me see, I need to go back up here. Try to Varange these out of the way. Got it. out there's actually an item hidden down here. There's that space you can get through here. Once you're down here, there's not much you can do unless you think to drill right there. You need to send the drone through here, drop down, then teleport Trace back in, then teleport through here, and drill it out of the way. I need to disable this. Because this is another note written in Sudran. A lengthy one. So when we translate that, it's a note about something called Kuliltu. Now, a Kuliltu, apparently, is a Mesopotamian mythical demon, kind of a fishman type thing. Also written as Kululu, which, as you can imagine, is probably part of Lovecraft's derivation for the word Cthulhu. In any case, Kuliltu is probably a Sumerian equivalent of the term Rusalki, which comes from Slavic mythology. So what we're seeing here is probably a story about the Rusalki showing up around Sudra, the High Priestess using the storm, i.e. the Breach Attractor, to trap them on Sudra. And they were sent into the care of the priesthood, because the priesthood worships machines, apparently. But the Kuliltu are probably not happy about being trapped here. Sudrans don't really care. But this particular Sudran leader, Ninturi, not the one who was the Sudran leader at the time of the plague, is concerned that that might come back to haunt the Sudrans one day. I'm sure that would never happen, though. So, let me turn that off again. Again, I don't like keeping that active, because without it, there is really... Oh, there's a shortcut here. Get back up. Without that, you have no real information about what language the notes are written in. And sometimes, as with that one about Oracca, that is a key part of understanding the meaning of the note, knowing what language was written in, and therefore who wrote it. So that's that room mapped. Good. I don't want that to happen. I'm gonna run away. So, again, this... Send Trace through here, teleport, send the drone through again, teleport again. And we can get our usual health node power-up for the boss fight. Hooray! I'm gonna send the drone out to clear out these wisps that are waiting for me, too. Not that it matters, because there's a save point right around the corner. Can I get rid of you? From here? What do I have that can hit you from there? Good charge, maybe? Nope, doesn't quite have the range. Oh well. I'll just melee them. Kilver. So again, up here, we teleport, then we can jump high enough to fire the drone again. Teleport again and get a power node fragment. Hooray! I know, it's a power node fragment, thank you. That's all I get over here. Now, hit the save point, just in case. So now I have a little more mobility to get through this area. You can see there by... I said, you can see there, by the way, what the garble looks like before the cellular automata spreads. It's just kind of green static. It spreads over time to look a little better. Now, over here, after I clear out... Not that. Vrange, thank you. After I clear out the glowbats... It's a lot easier to clear these things out from the side. You can barely see up there, there's actually an item. Now, what I want to do here, I'm going to lock in position and fire the drone upward at an angle. And then as soon as I'm at the top of it, I'm going to very quickly hit YYB. That will activate the drone, teleport Trace to where the drone is, and then fire the grapple upwards, like this. That gets me up here. Now I'm going to swing up towards there, and at the top of the arc, the grapple will detach, and I need to immediately use the trench coat to go up. Thus, that gets me another Bioflux Accelerator. Lovely. So that means I now have 4 tentacles. They fire projectiles a little faster, I guess. Which, again, doesn't really do anything. I'm gonna go back to the ground for now. Now, another thing you can do now that you have the drone teleport is you can actually get infinite height with it, and I'm going to use that to map a lot of these large areas really quickly. So the way you do that, normally you try to change back and then fire the drone up, but you can't because you need to actually hit the ground before you do the drone. However, if you use either the hacking tool or the drill, that resets the timer on the drone so you can fire it again while in midair. The pattern for that is basically Y, wait till the top of your arc, and then very quickly Y, Y, R1 or R2, and then Y again, like this. Yeah, you can gain height that way and traverse around quite a bit. And that, by the way, is how in a low item run, if you skip something like the extended drone range power-up, you would still get to a lot of the high-up areas, because you can still use that to some extent, even without the extended drone range. Get everything? There's still at least one more up there. Okay, good enough. So again... Okay, no? There are a lot of them up there. Is that all? I think so. Okay, so here... Get that whole column? I think so. Now, once I get over here... There's actually a ledge up here. And I'm going to grapple across here, even though I could probably, if I wanted to mess with it, use that drone teleport trick, but the grapple's a little easier here. It's kind of hard to time it properly to get over to this ledge. There's another health node fragment. Goody! So that's that whole side of Edin mapped, of the big central area of Edin, that is. So, I'm going to move on to the other side next time. Thank you for watching, and good night.